welcome. It is the Nisha Jackson Show, and I'm Rusty Humphreys. She is Nisha Jackson, and she has a friend with her, too. Nisha, welcome. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Who do we have here today? What?
I have a new friend. She's just new this whole last year. And I got really lucky to meet her because remember how we talked about raising your vibration?
Yes.
So I really was consciously working on raising my vibration. And this is my friend that I manifested by doing that.
Really? Well, isn't that nice? Well,
she's an energy worker, and she's just this fabulous human being that really helps people on several different things, moving energy that's stuck that they don't need in their life anymore, like things that are really tripping them up, especially emotional blocks. But she also works on helping people manifest more of what they want in their life. And I thought it would be good, Rusty, since we just talked about vibration, to have her come on. She's in town visiting me. She was at our company retreat, and she really taught our administrators and our managers and our medical providers how to start the process of trying to manifest.
All right, let me ask Jennifer a quick. Jennifer, I mean, I've known Nisha for a long time, so she knows I'm not, I'm not doing anything personal. But is it a bunch of hooey? I mean, is it just, vibrations and all that stuff? It just sounds like, grab me some granola and let me grow my hair out and put on some chipotle oil or whatever that stuff is.
Actually, it's not hooey. It's actually quite scientific. I mean, we know on a cellular level that we are vibrating. We know that every form of life emits a wave pattern, and that is what we call vibration. And vibration, I'm not actually sure if that's considered a scientific term, but it is accepted that we all are vibrating and we all are emitting this waveform. And so we do have the capacity to consciously control the frequency of what we're emitting through guiding our thoughts towards higher, more positive aspects. If that makes sense.
Okay, it does. All right. Nisha, you're kind of looking around right now.
Well, I was taking a selfie.
you got tens of thousands of people listening. Now's a good time to take a selfie. Why don't you can stop the show. We'll take selfies. It'll be great.
I'm going to show you the picture. I took a picture because I thought it would be kind of cool to take a picture.
It's really not a good picture.
To take a picture of Jennifer talking on the podcast, because that's kind of cool.
Okay, point it a little bit more to the camera. I want to see a little bit better. Go ahead, point it better. Up. There you go. That's good. That's good.
Don't you think that's good?
That is good.
Yeah.
My eyes closed.
We'll take another one. Anyway, I was listening.
I know you were. And I think you're a little excited because this is the first time you've actually had a real guest in your studio.
I know. Yes. Oh. It's awesome.
So, so what is it that, Jennifer, what is it that you do? What is it that you help people with?
Well, I really think that one of the most important things in terms of changing our lives towards being able to create feeling states that feel good is to learn how to guide our thoughts, learn how to become more conscious of our thoughts. And so I help people uncover limiting beliefs, patterns that they have in their lives. Some of these date back to early childhood, patterns of shame, guilt, and unprocessed emotional stuff that is really keeping people feeling less worthy than they are, and that they can't actually create a life that feels good. And manifesting is really about creating feeling states that have us feeling good, not feeling anxious, depressed, angry, frustrated. All of these feeling states are sort of low vibrational feeling states, right? And so when we're manifesting, what we're really focusing on is how to create more positive feeling states like happiness, joy, gratitude, peace. These are all things that bring us an inner wealth and an inner happiness that translates into creating more positive experiences in our lives and being able to actually kind of control the flow of our life to be more positive.
Is this a cousin of the Think and Grow Rich philosophy from back in the day?
Yes, in a way. There's a lot of parallels there. And I think that Napoleon Hill, that was the Think and Grow Rich, he was onto something for sure. I feel like that was a little formulaic. I mean, we're 7 billion different people with different fingerprints and different faces, and we all are so unique. So I don't think that it's as formulaic as some of those earlier models. I do think that depending on the person, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But that is one of the earlier works in which someone kind of realized that you can, through your thoughts, create a better life.
Nisha, why did Jennifer, you met her in California, why has she become so important in your life?
Well, I think one of the things that's important in raising your vibration and moving through your life in a more fluid fashion is surrounding yourself with people who are very positive, who are already vibrating on a high level. Remember the teeter-totter I was talking about in the show about vibration? You want your vibration to be high. You don't want to be offset by a negative people. Negative people and surrounding yourself with negative people lowers your vibration. And most of the time, chronically negative people are habituating on negativity, and you're not going to help them. You're just enabling them. So seeking out high vibrating people like Jennifer is so key for keeping your own vibration high. So I was very attracted to her. Our mothers actually introduced us because they played on the same golf course for many years.
Oh, that's cute. You had like a play
date. I know,
date.
isn't that sweet?
Uh-huh.
I know she's younger than me, actually quite a bit younger than me, but she's so fun and it makes me feel young when I'm around her. And so I just love, we can geek out about this stuff because we both really believe in it. And I'm really, even though I practice medicine and we have medical clinics and we deal with medical issues, I really think that a lot of medical issues, Rusty, are emotionally based. So if we can give people tools to move out of these stuck emotional states, their whole physical health would be better. And it's not just about wrestling with anger and irritability and resentment. It's like trying to move that stuff out and becoming a better person. So I was very attracted to Jen because she already vibrates on a high level and she wants that same thing for her life and the people that her clients that she works with is to teach them how to move out of those stuck areas and to get back to really who they were at their core, like in their soul. Mm-hmm. And so I love that. And I love that we can support each other in that way.
So Jennifer, when someone comes to your clinic, your practice, what do you do with them?
Well, it depends. I mean, it's really different for each person, and I work with them based on what's going on with them. But I do energy work, so I am able to find trapped energy in the meridian system. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's like, have you acupuncture?
I've done acupuncture, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so wherever they're putting the needles and getting the energy to flow, the chi to flow, those are different acupuncture points along the meridian system. And the Chinese have been studying that for
So they're not just jamming needles in wherever they want to when they're doing that, right? No, okay.
I would change acupuncture if that's...
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure. It's Jimmy down there on 2nd Street. Oh, oy vey, come here. And I don't feel quite as good.
The wrong acupuncturist.
Yeah, okay. Now that makes sense.
Okay, I want Jen to give us 3 or 4 principles on how to try to manifest more of what we want in our life. Because I really think instead of focusing on what's wrong with our life and what's not good with our life and what we're angry with in our life, that we should be focusing on what we really desire for our life. So I'm going to have her give 3 simple steps on what you can do today to start trying to manifest more of what you want in your life. That would be really good for you. Okay. All right.
Well, you just primed it perfectly, because what happens when we focus on what's not good in our lives is we're actually creating more of that feeling state. Okay, so if we were focused on all of the things that we don't have, or what we would call lack consciousness, right? So we're in this conscious state of feeling like we don't have enough, and that we're not enough. Maybe we don't have what it takes to get the life we want. Then we're actually creating more of that, because what's happening is there really is a science to what we put out, we get back. If you there's an institute called the Heart Math Institute, and they've literally created they have a technology where they've mapped the electromagnetic field of the heart, and it is this kind of always feeding itself back this field of energy. And so it really shows us that what we're doing is we're emitting out something via our heart, and we're getting that back. And so if our heart is not calibrated to feeling good and it's calibrated to feeling bad, then we're getting more of that. And so it starts with guiding your thoughts towards being grateful for what you do have, rather than feeling like, oh, you're consciously looking for what you want and what you don't. You're looking at what you don't have in this way of like, oh, I wish my life wasn't like it is. We have to start looking around at what we have, because we all are pretty abundant in this country. We all have a lot to be grateful for. There's always something we can be grateful for. And we have to start kind of being more conscious about those things and taking the time to actually feel grateful for those things, not just like have a list of what we're grateful for, but getting into the feeling state of what it feels like to be grateful, right?
Yeah, and let me ask you this. I mean, one of the things, and Nisha, you're the doctor, and you're not a doctor, Jennifer, correct? Like me?
No, I'm not.
Okay. The medical field doesn't talk about energy at all, does it? I mean, it's like it doesn't even exist in the medical field. And there is something
talk about
there.
nutrition in the medical field.
Yeah, I mean, they're really not talking about a lot of things that I think people really need to move, to be able to move them through physical issues, because our whole body is connected. Our body, our brain, our mind, everything's connected. So to think that we could just separate things and just treat one thing is really ludicrous. It's crazy. So, but they're not taught this. We've gone over this in the past. They're not taught this in med school. They're not taught this in practitioner school. There is a lot more emerging in these areas, which I'm so grateful for. And I do think it's going to become more in the forefront, because it's going to have to. In fact, with a study that just came out this last week that showed the incidence of cancer is significantly increased with a broken heart. That's all about emotions. So people who have a broken heart for whatever reason have a much increased risk for cancer. So this is something we're going to have to start paying attention to. But I just wanted to make a point here, Rusty, before she moves through her next 2 points on manifesting, is that the emotions that she just talked about is really key. And I actually learned this, and this got more deep-seated into my own life this year. And that was, I've always been really good at planning. Like, I love planning. I love writing down my goals. I always have goals. I always have a plan. I'm always trying to go bigger, better, faster, definitely faster. Yeah. But so I'm always trying to do that because I love making goals. And I love achieving goals, any kind of goals. But there's a difference between writing it down and just thinking it versus writing it down and really feeling it, like feeling the emotion of what you want. Like, what would it feel like to be able to have a really great relationship with my daughter? What would it feel like to be able to have the ability to take more time off and enjoy myself doing creative things? Like, what would that actually feel like? Because if you can identify, those might be lame things, those might be lame examples, but you can think of anything that you want to manifest, right? That you want more of in your life. That's what manifesting means. It's just something that you want more of in your life, not less. And it could be a new car. It could be a new way of being. It could be that you're getting rid of resentment and what it would be like to be more happy and joyful, or experiencing more love towards somebody. Like, what would that feel like? And I think when you attach emotion to it, it's like puts it on turbo speed. And what it does is it increases the law of attraction. And anyone that does not believe in the law of attraction has to start doing some reading, because it's real. It is real. What you put out.
How long have you been doing that?
The law of attraction?
Yeah.
Most of my adult life.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of on turbo speed now, or turbocharged now in the area of attraction, because I'm attaching so much more emotion to it, like really feeling what it would feel like to have what I want, like exactly have what I want in every area of my life. And it doesn't necessarily mean it always shows up in the way that you think, because sometimes you're not given exactly what you think you need or you want, but it shows up in a much better way. But the emotions attached to it does put it on hyperspeed, which I love. Like, I love any tool that helps me get something faster. Like, who wouldn't, right? So there is some scientific evidence that this is true also, on the emotional part of what you're putting out there. Okay, I'm going to let Jennifer finish.
Jennifer, is that what you suggest to your patients, your clients, to put emotion into it? That makes a difference, like Nisha said?
It is the thing. Yeah, it's because it's where your attention goes, the energy flows. And so the more attention you can put into creating more positive feeling in your life, the more you will reap that. So the feeling is the biggest part. It's what happens is we have a thought, and if the thought provokes a feeling, we're in that vibration of that feeling, and then we're creating more of that feeling. So it's not actually that the thought is creating what we're manifesting. It's that the thought provokes feeling, and the feeling creates what we manifest. Like I said, through the heart. And there is going to be more scientific evidence of this. The only reason that people aren't talking about this yet is because we haven't had the technology to measure this stuff. And we will. And then it'll be proven.
And how do you
But
become an
that's coming.
expert in this like you are? Is it reading a lot of books? Is it going to school? Is it something else? What did you do to become such an expert?
It's both of those things. I mean, I have done a master healing program with someone who practices this, and that was a part of the program, learning how to kind of drop into my heart and actually guide my thoughts from that space of really creating what I want. And that dropping into my heart probably sounds crazy to you, but what I mean is really like moving my consciousness there. And so that's some of the energy work that I do that is probably a little bit more advanced than for someone just starting out. But it really is about the feeling. So be grateful and then drop into that feeling of gratitude and create more of that. So there's both being grateful for what we have now, and then there's also daring to dream for the future, because a lot of people limit what they feel like they can manifest because they don't know how in their minds they're going to get there yet. They think, well, how could I possibly, buy an oceanfront home when right now my bank account is such and such. And so they don't even dare to dream about it. But they're limiting themselves because it's not, the universe is this infinite power. There's so much potential that could come our way. But if we block it because our mind says, well, I don't know how I'm going to get there, then we're really limiting what the universe can bring to us. And
isn't that normal? Most people go, how am I going to get there?
It's
right?
totally normal. But if you want to create more good things in your life and create things that you couldn't even possibly think you could have, and live a fabulous life that feels really good, and you have what you want in terms of like a beautiful home or whatever it is that you're dreaming about, allow yourself to dream about it. Don't block it because you don't know how you're going to get there. Dare to dream, and then trust and allow, trusting and allowing. So trusting that the universe has your back, trusting that what you dream can come to you, even if you don't know how it's going to come, even if you don't know how you're going to get there. If you can trust in that and allow, instead of blocking it with doubt, because the doubt is natural. Doubt's going to creep in there, but don't fall into doubt. Don't allow the doubt to overtake the dreaming process. That's a big one.
Okay.
So gratitude, dare to dream, trust and allow, and then do the work if that's a part of it too. I always say that it's like intention's a huge one too.
Yes.
You got to talk about intention,
Right.
because your intention literally directs energy. And so,
I mean, Nisha's one of the best people I've ever seen that lives this. I mean, would you agree with that, Jennifer? And what have you seen that she does? Kind of brag on her for a second. What do you see that she does that makes it so she's so successful? I'm not being
doing
silly.
everything right.
Yeah.
I mean, she really practices what she preaches, and guess what? She's also a seriously good person. And I think that when we are coming from like a heart-based perspective, when we literally have, yes, we want what we want for ourselves, but we also want for the greater good. we also want for everyone else to be happy too. And the universe is super abundant. This is not a competitive thing. There's no like, if I get what I want, someone else has to suffer. That's not how it works. Actually, there's universal abundance is a definite thing. And in terms of money, there's a lot of stories people have around money and abundance. And it's like, if I get some, then someone else has to lose some. This is not the way it works. That's a fallacy. And so Nisha is someone that knows that her greater good is for everyone's greater good, because she's got 70 employees and she cares about every single one of them. And I do feel like the universe is like shining on her, because she's doing everything right. She's doing all the steps in terms of manifesting, but she's also just like got a huge heart. And I think that she's being rewarded for that.
All right, Nisha, what is Jennifer teaching you? What have you learned from her?
Well, I love that first of all, I just love that we can talk about this. I brought her up to do some teachings because I try to teach the people that work with me about how important it is to, spread kindness and get out of negativity, because you don't really want that in your workplace at all. So I understand that the more that I can bring my employees and managers and medical practitioners up to a much higher vibration, a much higher energy level as far as their emotional well-being, the better our business will do and the better our patients will be. Because there's nothing better than to be treated by a medical provider who is vibrating on a high level. Like they're plugged into you. As opposed to, there's a lot of medical providers that you might see that never even make eye contact with you. They don't touch you.
They're too busy.
They don't make
too busy typing on the computer and worrying about the next client.
Yes. And I think just showing up for people, whether it be your coworker or your manager or somebody you're supervising or your patient in a medical practice, I believe if that were happening on a much higher vibrating level, that our company will do better. And if our company does better and we keep expanding, that means more people get help in this area of medicine that I think is vitally important. So I brought Jennifer in because she is an energy guru, and I love everything she teaches. And she's so dynamic. Her ability to connect up with people is phenomenal. So and she does do phone consultations. So I think she'll continue to work.
That's what I was just going to ask. Do you work with people outside of because you're in the Palm Springs area, right?
Yes.
So if I'm not in Palm Springs, can I still work with you somehow?
Yes, I do phone sessions, and they're really effective. And they've been, I've had great outcomes, even physical relief over the phone, because I work with energy, and it's not limited to our locality. It kind of exists in another field, right? So I can tap into people whether or not I'm sitting in the same room with them, and work with their energy and help them transform emotional blocks. And we can just talk things through as well. But I've had really great results with that. And I actually really like the phone sessions. So
that's awesome. All right, we're running short of time. Is there anything else you wanted to get out, either one of you, Nisha or Jennifer, that we haven't touched on yet?
I would say if I had my little phrase for the day, it would be, well, it's a little spin on that question that's going around in the personal transformation world, which is, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And I would kind of twist this to say, what would you feel if you knew you could feel any way you want? And obviously we would choose happiness, joy, gratitude, all these nice things, right? So this process really allows us to choose how we want to feel. And so that's why it's so valuable. So intend, trust, allow, and then do the work.
Okay. You have a website. Where is that, Jennifer?
My website is 21stcenturyhealer.com. So that's 21stcenturyhealer.com.
Of course, NishaJackson.com is your website, huh, Nisha?
That's right.
Anything?
Yeah, NishaJackson.com.
All right, we're running. I'm almost out of time. I got like 30 seconds. Anything else you want to get out there? You want to tell people?
We'll put this information on our website at NishaJackson.com. And so you start doing the work. Just start with something simple. Pick one thing that you want to change. Pick one thing that you want more of in your life and attach some emotion to it and just sit with it for a couple of weeks. Just sit on it for a couple of weeks and keep saying it over and over and over again. this is what I want and this is how it feels if I were to get what I want. And then believe in it. Just believe it.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
And don't focus on not having it. Focus on what it would feel like if you did have it. So you can sit in that state of feeling rather than feeling the lack of it. That's really important.
Ladies, it is always a pleasure. Don't forget to check out Nisha Jackson's new book, Brilliant Burnout, How Successful Driven Women Can Stay in the Game and rewire their bodies, brains, and hormones. Thank you very much for checking us out. And make sure you subscribe to the Nisha Jackson Show here on YouTube, Facebook, if you're listening to the podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, any of those places. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the Nisha Jackson Show. Bye.